It is time. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to stand up. It's time for Christians to come together, to share their testimonies, to inspire hope, and to join their brothers and sisters as we answer the call. Folks, it is time to wake up the lions. And I have an absolute lioness with me today who I cannot wait to introduce you to. I have gotten to know this wonderful lady here just a little bit in the last few weeks. I'm surprised every time we have a chat, and she's incredibly accomplished and doing all kinds of fantastic works in his name. She is an author of 7 different books, which I can't wait to hear about. She's also the host of the hit podcast Unpolished but Called. Please welcome to the show, Kathrin Shaffer. Kathrin, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Oh, better than I deserve, but I'm getting used to that. So we're getting through it. I appreciate you coming on the show. You feeling good?
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, my pleasure. All right, so we have a lot to talk about. I definitely want to talk about your podcast. We definitely want to talk about your story. Um, you started out writing books, so anywhere you want to start. But the bottom line is, how has God influenced your life? Go for it.
In a lot of craziest ways. I never thought I'd be here. Um, I'm a very new Christian, very, very new, a year and a half in. Did not expect to be writing and doing a podcast. I can tell you that right now. I walked into church a year and a half ago in unexpected ways. And then like 6 months ago, the Lord was like, "Hey, you should write a book that you've been thinking about writing for several years," which was The King's Wisdom, which was initially just a leadership book. I've been in leadership for a long time. So I just saw a need for leadership training, which there's a lot of leadership training out there, but nothing like basic. It was all like I don't know how to explain it. I just found that there was like something that needed to be more like very basic, basic, basic. Like somebody that never had was in a leadership position. But then when I got into Christianity, I wanted to mesh the two together because the greatest leader out there but Jesus,
Right.
right?
Amen. Absolutely.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's what I did. I wrote The King's Wisdom using biblical leadership skills that he brought us. And then it just was history from there. But I don't think he meant for me to walk through the books for me, not necessarily to make myself a famous author. It was very
Interesting.
interesting.
So your
Yes,
journey is sort of taking place through the books.
yes,
Right. Okay.
yes.
So you
So,
find Christianity first, then start writing.
yes,
Got it. And the first one is the King's Wisdom.
yes,
Okay. So is this applicable to business too, just with a biblical tone? Is that kind of the deal?
absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the King's Wisdom is a great kickoff. It kind of teaches you how to incorporate um, biblical ways into business and your leadership skills, how to kind of incorporate your faith into your workplace. So
Okay.
it doesn't mean that you have to, pray with your staff and do all those things, but how to kind of mesh the two together, how to treat your staff, how to be that leader to show your staff respect and do all those things, right?
Right.
Um,
Was this particular book was it inspired by the business side of it and then it took on a Christian tone, or was it
yes.
inspired the other way? Okay, that way.
Yes. So
Awesome.
for a few years, I really wanted to write a book about leadership.
Okay.
I've been in leadership a long time, many years. I'm not going to age myself. Um, um,
It's
I don't
okay.
want to age myself, but many, many years I've been in leadership, and I've heard horror stories. I've seen horror stories. I've been part of horror stories of just bad managers and bad leaders. And I've heard from, employees that I've had of just things that they've experienced, my own experiences. And I really felt that, we need to do better as a society. of training people into those roles. We can't just throw anybody into these positions because they are responsible for other people and the next generation. So I really wanted to give just like a quick, the book isn't big, it's like 80 pages or something. I just wanted to give like a quick starter guide of, hey, somebody who's never been in leadership, here's a quick starter guide of how you can kickstart becoming a leader. And then
Cool.
I became a Christian.
Cool. Cool. No, I love it.
Yeah,
That's a great thing to put
yeah,
together. So
yes.
that takes you where? What's the second book in this list?
The second book, so this is where God is kind of funny how he works. Um, so he was like,
Always.
okay, he's just funny that way.
Right.
So then, so he was like, okay, so now you finally wrote the book you've been talking about writing for years and years and years. So now let's work on you. And I was like, okay, I always say I'm new. I have no idea what I'm doing as a Christian. I need to work on me and my heart. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. And I've always been a writer. I've always, written things and poetry and stuff. And so the next book was Living in the Word. So that is about your prayer life and how to live, reading the Bible, how to get used to doing all as a new Christian, how to get used to living the Word.
Nice.
How to, yes. So that was my next book was how, because I really didn't know. I was like, this is an intimidating book. It's the Bible. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this book. You read it and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't understand it all. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to pray. It was awkward. It was weird. I'm sure I'm not the only new Christian that felt that way.
Not at
I
all, I'm
think when we
sure.
start right, we all are like, am I doing this right? It doesn't sound proper. Is there certain words I'm supposed to use? So it's weird as a new Christian. So that's what the second book is about. It's like a little beginner guide of here's as a new Christian, a little help on your prayer life and how to kind of get into the Bible, how to build habits of praying and reading your Bible and doing all those things. And
Wonderful.
it was definitely for me. It was more for me than anybody. And I published it to see if I could help anybody else.
Wonderful. I love that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the best reason to put out a book is it's
Right?
for you. All right, well, what was next?
The next one was the grief one that I struggled with for a few years. I had lost my mom 3 years ago.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't close with my mom. Yeah. I wasn't close with my mom. We had our ups and downs, as I think a lot of mother-daughter relationships. We have those struggles sometimes. And so I buried a lot of that pain. And I guess God thought I needed to finally work out that trauma. So the next calling on my heart was to write a book about grief.
And that's Beauty for Ashes, Walking Through Grief with God. That's the name of that book.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Excellent.
And that opened a lot of wounds and a lot of traumas. And I do open up a lot in there about the things about my relationship with my mother and kind of how to that it's okay to grief isn't a one time done and over. It's okay that there's moments where even if you think you're quote unquote over it, that years later something happens and it washes right back in as if it was
Uh,
day one. And it actually just happened. It's been 3 years and something happened just recently, actually. And it came flooding right back in. And I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. There's that grief that I was talking about, right?
yeah,
So it's not that it ever goes away, it just changes shape. And so the book really, that's what it talks about is that grief never goes away, but God's always with you in it, right? He
yeah.
weeps with you, He feels your pain, He's there with you every step of the way,
Nice.
right?
Nice. It
Yeah.
sounds like an incredibly helpful book for a lot of folks.
Yeah,
Uh,
I hope so.
so
Yeah.
you feel like you're being called to write these books as they're coming to you.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yes.
don't, there's no plan. Literally, there's no plan. I finish a book. There's lots of editing. I do all my own edits. I listen to the book. I usually put it on where it reads it to me so I can really edit it out.
Yeah.
I do my own covers. Like I really do my own work on it. And then they get published, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then, right. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good now. And then all of a sudden, um, I hear, a voice will come to me and it's God. And he's like, okay, now it's time to write this one. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And here, and it's, and we want to obey, right? Because we don't want to be disobedient to God because that's not very good because
Right.
bad things happen when we're disobedient.
Right. S-
So there was many sleepless nights, many days where I was literally dictating in my car, driving to work, many sleepless days where all I did was write. My husband wouldn't see me. I was just like locked in my office, just writing. So, so yeah, yeah.
So after Beauty for Ashes, then the next one that you're called to do is what and why?
It was actually Proverbs 31.
Proverbs
Yes,
31 woman.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. And that one is about what for everybody who
That
hasn't read
one
it yet?
is that one was probably I'm very proud of Proverbs 31 just because I felt well, how do I say this without sounding like a crazy person? Um, Proverbs 31 woman. There's so many books out there in Proverbs, so many great books, and I read quite a few books. And I don't know why God called me to add another book to the list for Proverbs 31, but this one I wanted, I guess, I needed to write for myself, or he wanted me to write for myself, so I could really dig deep into Proverbs 31 of how to be a good wife, and what it meant that we have a calling as well as women. We're not just there to be submissives and homemakers. There's more to us as women. We are called by God to not just be homemakers and subservient to our husbands. We also, the Proverbs 31 woman was also, she clothed her family. She had a business. She ran the household. Like she did it all. And I know that sounds overwhelming. And I know, women are like, oh, she's like superwoman. No, and that's not what it's, that's not what it's saying at all. I mean, yes, she was Superwoman. But what it's saying is that there is nothing that we can't do as women without God. Like God is our strength. He gives us the strength and the power to do anything we set our minds to.
Nice.
Because with God, He gives us that strength. So we are not just homemakers. So we cannot be just we can't just diminish ourselves to be like, oh, we are just homemakers. We are so much more in God's eyes. Like we are his daughters, we are his children, just like men. Men have their roles and women have roles as well. And that is what Proverbs 31 talks about. And we need to stay empowered in that that God has a plan for us women. And it is such a great plan. And I think a lot of women miss that point. They miss that. And I wanted to write that not just for me to know what my role is, but really for women to understand that there's an empowerment that comes with that, that God wants us to be empowered. That not just that we're not equal to men, but we are a helper to them. We are a helper to our husbands. When they are gone to work, we run the household. We are there to continue what the men are gone to do for work. So we run the household, we take care of the families. if our spouse passes away, guess what? We're it. We are going to take over the business. I mean, I hate to throw Charlie Kirk in there and Erica Kirk, but she is a perfect example. She has taken over the business.
Oh,
She has done exactly what Proverbs 31 talks about. And that is what a woman's role is. We are empowered and we are God's daughters. And there's a strength in that. And I don't think women understand that, the greatness that comes with that. And Proverbs 31 talks about that. And I know they think and I know it's just this one little, scripture, but if you really read Proverbs, it's through the whole thing. And that's what the book really jumps around, because it's not just that one scripture where it talks about it. It really wraps into the entire Proverbs book. It just ties all into it. That's what it is. It's an empowerment for women.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I love listening to you talk about it. I mean, you can tell how much this book means to you. Just
Yeah.
you lit up talking about this one like kaboom, yeah, like Christmas tree type stuff.
Yeah.
This was you said you were very proud of this book. I can tell.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot.
interesting.
I really dug deep into it, and it meant a lot to me to be. I'm not saying like I was a terrible wife before, but I wanted to really become a godly wife. I wanted to understand what it meant to be a godly wife, and do right by my husband. And not that I was a terrible wife, but I wanted to really embody that and do better, because we can all do better
Yeah,
all the time, right? There's always chances to do better, right? So this book was my opportunity to dig deep, do the research, really dig through scripture, and give that opportunity, to give that chance to myself through God's strength to become a better godly wife. And
yeah.
I'm not perfect, trust me. There's there's still days where I fail. And I'm like, oh, that was a bad day, or oh, that was not very godly. There's moments where I'm like, oh, we're slipping. But
Yeah,
but now I know and I can catch myself, where before it was very oblivious. But at least now I know where I mess up, and I there's that conviction there where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta correct that, right?
nice.
Where before there was, there was like veil up where I didn't know any better.
Very, very nice. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I could talk to you about this book all day, and I bet you could
Me
too.
too.
So but in the interest of time, I got a few other things I
Yes,
want to get to, of
yes.
course. So, after that, you were called to which one?
Um, After Proverbs, oh my goodness.
You
What's
want me to,
left on the
want me to read
list?
off the ones you got? The You're Still
Yes,
in Charge.
sorry.
You're Still in Charge Somehow. Rightish. Dispatches from the Shadows.
I think I took a break and I did Dispatches from the Shadow, because after Proverbs it was really heavy. And I did a fun project. I just Dispatches from the Shadows, which was a little twist off of Screw Tape Letters. It was
Ah, okay.
yeah, so it was a modern twist to Screw Tape Letters because it's such an old book. So I did a modern version of Screw Tape Letters. It was just a fun project. I didn't plan I was like, if it never sells, that's fine. I just had fun writing it. I just wanted to give a modern twist of how modern society, compared to back then, it was a different world back then, right? When Screw Tape Letters were written.
Right.
We're modern. We have like the technology distraction. We have, Netflix. We have, the doom scrolling on our phones. There's so many other ways that, the devil tries to keep us away from our purposes now. So that was kind of the fun project where I was like, okay, we're going to modernize the screw tape letters. So that's why I wrote that book, was just a
Love
modern
it.
version of it. So
Love it. Love it. All
yeah,
right. I'm looking forward to reading that one too, just because I've read the Screw Tape Letters. So
yeah,
it's I'm looking
yeah.
forward to seeing your take on it. You got Rightish and You're Still
Okay.
in Charge Somehow. Which one was next?
Rightish was the next one. That is
Okay.
my that one is going to be a series, but I haven't written the second one yet. So Rightish is volume one of my ethics book, my Christian ethics series. There is going to be three of them, but that's only volume one because ethics is heavy.
Hmm.
Christian ethics is heavy. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. Um, yes. I don't even
Cool.
know. Christian ethics is just heavy. So volume one got written. Um, it was actually inspired by my pastor. So last, oh, I guess not last January, but this past January, he did a Christian ethics course through our church. He runs a Bible college, usually in the off season. So in January, in the evening, he runs his own Bible college. Super cool. He's amazing man. Very, very smart. And so I got in, so I guess there was an inspiration there. And so in late this year, I decided to really do a little bit more of a deep dive because it was a very short course. So I wanted to kind of deep dive more into Christian ethics and what it actually means. And then next I knew the outline I had was for three books. And volume one was the only one I had got finished. I'm working on volume two, but volume one is finished. And it's a little bit of, I try to put a little humor into it because it's so heavy. And it's ethics. I mean, we all need
Humor into
it. Let's
Christian
be
ethics.
realistic.
Humor into Christian ethics
Yeah,
is a
you
tough
gotta
one.
laugh a little. I mean, who just I
Uh,
like to laugh. I like to have fun. And, ethics is already like a heavy topic, and
right.
you can't do it dry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But you can't, and we know God likes to have fun, and we know God's got jokes, okay? You can't tell me he doesn't, right? Um,
I'm not going to
right?
argue with you on that at all.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I'm sorry. There's days where I'm like, I know he's got jokes because I look at my life.
I love it.
So, but yeah, you can't do Christian ethics. You can't do it dry. Otherwise,
Cool.
no,
All
you
right.
can't.
All right. And so
Um,
we end with you're still in charge somehow.
yeah, so that is my second volume to actually my first book, King's Wisdom. So that one is a little bit more
Wow.
of a deep dive to the original book. So that one is the second volume.
Got it.
Yes. So somebody who wants
Wonderful.
a little bit more deep dive, yes.
Phew, man. All right. I mean, you were just a writing, just
Uh,
dynamo,
yes.
turn,
Like I said, I
turning
didn't
this stuff
sleep
out.
for months. I didn't sleep for months.
Obviously not, but
No.
you've accomplished some serious stuff and put this out there for people. Now, so you're writing, you're writing, you're writing, you're writing, you're writing. This is kind of your vehicle. This is your venue. This is how
Yeah.
you're spreading the word.
It
This
was it
is
was
the whole bit.
basically my walk. Yeah, it was mostly my walk.
Right,
And then I was like, well, I don't want to just have it sit there. And then I was like, well, I'm just gonna publish it. If other people read it, great. And if it never sells, that's great too. But at least it was for me.
right.
Like I don't want to be selfish, but like God was like, okay, this is how you're gonna fast track your walk. Let's do this. And then um I put it out there because I was like, if I learned so much, I want to share this with other people.
Sure.
Because why not? Because I got so much out of it. And then I was like, oh, let's do a website, let's do all these things, right? So,
So
but
you're
there was no intention of ever selling it. There was no intention of like making millions. It's why the books are so cheap. Like I don't make I make like $1. Like I'm not gonna like a buck off a book, okay?
God doesn't mind when you make money.
I
Okay. It's
I
okay with
know,
him
but
if you
like
make money.
I'm not I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't make a fortune off these books because that's not my intention. Like
Okay.
literally, it's not my. I don't even. That's not why I wrote them. That's
Well,
so,
it's a great way to spread the word to people who like to
yes,
read. So that's perfect.
yes, yes,
I am curious though, what made you make the move? Because at this point, you're establishing yourself as a writer. I mean, seven
yes,
books is like boom, boom, boom.
yes,
People are starting to
yes,
see Kathrin Shaffer writer, right?
yes,
And so
yes.
you say, no, no, no more. Now
Oh,
it's
that wasn't me.
Kathrin
That's
Shaffer,
yeah.
podcaster.
Oh, I had no say in that.
Okay,
That
so
wasn't me.
how do you end up podcasting?
You ask God. I don't know. I'm not driving this vehicle. I have no idea.
Fair.
No, like honestly, I have no idea because I was like, okay, we're writing now. Okay, I guess that's what I am. And so that's why I started the website. I was like, okay, I went to my local bookstore. I was in libraries. Like I started to make moves like, okay, I'm an author. So let's start making moves like I'm an author. I registered with like in Canada, I have to register with our government so I can get the ISBNs, right? Like I have to get so I start to make moves like I'm an author. That's why I got the website. I was like, okay, we're gonna start making moves because I'm an author. We're
Yeah.
gonna treat it like I'm an author. And then just as I started to make all these moves, that's why I said God's got jokes. As soon as I started making all these moves, all of a sudden, God's like, okay, I think you're good now. We're going to do a complete pivot. And hey, um, I think you'd be really great at doing a podcast. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, what? Yeah. So then it was actually Brandon that started popping up on my news feed.
Yeah.
And she started really like hammering, like, hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Like she started coming up on my newsfeed, hammering.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I seeing this? Like, and she's always popped up on my newsfeed, but it was more like other stuff. But all of a sudden I started seeing and like these conviction like posts, like, hey, if I can do anybody can do it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like,
Right.
what are you trying to tell me? Like, I'm a writer. Like, this is not what I do. Like, I stay behind the scenes in the shadows, right? Like I don't even do like book signings. Like that's not my jam. Like I'm in the shadows, like with a hoodie on, like
Right.
I'm like just like a nerd behind a computer. Like that's what I do, right? And then God's like, no, no, no. You're comfortable with that now. We don't grow in our comfort. You have to get out of your comfort. You have to do something else now.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. So then he was like, "Oh, you need to message Brandon and find out how to do a podcast."
So
And
this
that's
is
what
yeah, this is
happened.
Brandon Lynette, who's a mutual friend of ours,
Yes,
and
yes,
she's also been on this program. And so, yeah,
yes.
people know who she is
Love
in
her.
our circles.
Love
But
her.
does she know that she inspired you to get started
Yes.
with this? You've told her this, right?
Um, I hope she knows because I feel like I've bugged her enough, and I was like,
She knows now,
well, she knows now when she watches this.
right?
But I feel like I've told. I mean, I feel like I've told her enough, and I've bugged her enough, and yeah, I did
That's
mention her on my podcast a couple, not by name, but I have said that um a friend of mine, it's her fault that I'm here.
that's wonderful. I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that
so
you're doing the pie. I mean, it's a very
yeah,
good podcast. I love that you're doing it.
thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
the let's get back to your faith journey a little bit because you're doing all
Yeah,
these fantastic things to
crazy things.
spread
Yes.
the word. The
Yes.
now you said you just became, a Christian here recently, like last year
Year
and
and
a
a
half,
half. Right,
right?
yeah.
So
Yes.
did you have sort of training and upbringing in this prior and then left it and then came back, or is this
Um,
brand new, never before seen to you?
so in, yes and no. So my I'm not gonna age myself, but my great grand
You're
I
not
mean, if you
older than
listen to
me.
my podcast,
Nobody's gonna think you're older than me. So you're totally safe.
I mean, if you listen to my podcast, I age myself literally right at the beginning. I tell you my age. Anyways, I don't know why I'm trying to hide. Um, but my great grandmother and my grandmother are Roman Catholics, so that's how they raised us. But so it was very prominent in our house because I lived with them, with my mother. My mother was a single mom, so we all lived in the same house. So it was very prominent Roman Catholic, um, that side of things. So it was very much like the Pope, Vatican, very strict. My great grandma was obsessed with the Vatican, the Pope. I mean, If she could have moved into the Vatican, she would have. Like this woman, with like the rosary on her table, the little like she had it all, right? Like if it was on TV about the Vatican and the Pope, she was watching it, right? She was obsessed. So that's how I was raised, like very much respectful, like that's how you did it, right? But um, I was at the same time, as a little girl, I was made to feel that I was not good enough to go to the church.
Wow.
So it was very mixed reviews because I was born out of wedlock.
Hmm. Yeah, back when we
So
were
it was,
younger, that mattered.
yes.
Yeah,
And yes. So because I was born out of wedlock, I was not good enough to go to church, but yet I had to follow, like, there was that religious, like, cloud over me.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how I was raised in a sense. But then as I got older, I kind of got away from it. I always believed, like, there was always like this belief that there was, obviously like God, Jesus, or something. But then in my 20s, um, there was, it became popular that, oh, you don't call it God, you don't call it Jesus. It just was a higher power, right?
Right.
Right, because then that's cool because you don't want to call it by name. You don't want to call them by name, right?
Right.
So you kind of got away from it in your 20s. And then I got married and things like that. And then my husband and I, we did try when we had kids and stuff to go back to church, but then church became so legalistic. We just couldn't find a church we got behind because we knew that wasn't right.
Right.
We're like, that's not church, right? So yeah, we just didn't go to church because we couldn't find one that really we wanted to go to
So
until like a year and a half ago.
it wasn't a strain with your relationship with Jesus, really. It was sort of an issue with
People.
the human interpretation
Yes.
of it
Yeah,
and the legalistic interpretation and things like that. I hear
absolutely.
this a lot, where it's a
Mm-hmm.
people problem, not a
Yes.
Jesus problem.
Yes. And that's what kind of is the message I try to portray in the podcast because I see it so much because I ran into it and I hear it so much and I see it even on Facebook, the groups I'm in, is that people turn away from the church because of the people, not because of God. They don't have they're not disgruntled with God, they're disgruntled with the people in the church.
Yeah.
And a lot of my messages in the podcast are like, please don't let people hurt keep you away from your salvation. Like your salvation is more important because realize they're sinners too. They need grace too, just as much as you do.
Yeah.
Like the same grace that God gave you, they need.
Great
So don't
message.
turn away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. The no, you and I, just because we've talked quite a bit, off camera, I know that building discipleship, in Jesus is a very important thing to you in your life. Um, do you feel as though the books and the podcasts have helped you do that?
I hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, I do pray that it does. I pray that it plants seeds because it's not my job to bring people, it's not my job to save people. It's my job to plant the seeds.
Mhm.
Right. So I do hope that I get to plant seeds, and then God does the rest, right? Because that's what we're called to do. We're called to plant seeds. So that, and if I get to, and if my job is to plant that one person, that seed, and one person, so they make it to heaven, and that's good enough, right? And
Wow.
as long as that one person makes it, I've done my job.
Nice. Very well said. I love that mission. I really do. And you just explained it out beautifully to everybody who's listening. So
Thank you.
power to you. I love it. Absolutely love it. The as we kind of bring this close to wrapping up, I love hearing your story. I appreciate you sharing it here with all of our listeners. I have one more question for you. So before we end with the last question,
Okay.
let's hit contact info. How can people reach Kathrin Shaffer, talk to you more, find out about your books, your podcast, everything?
Um, Good question. Facebook is probably I'm so I'm all over the place. Probably my Facebook is probably the easiest to reach me.
Okay.
So Kathrin Schaefer is probably the easiest to reach me. Yes. I'm more active on my Facebook than anywhere. I do have a website, so you can sign up on my website as well. I do have a newsletter where you can send, like, you can sign up and you can send me a message through that as well.
Okay. And what's the website for
But
everybody?
Facebook is easy. My website is the same, kathrinschafer.com. Uh, it's the exact same.
Okay.
I try to keep everything the same. That way it makes it easy. But Facebook is I'm most active on Facebook, so definitely my Facebook is the easiest place to send me a message, reach out to me, and I'll respond.
Wonderful. All
Yeah.
right. As we wrap it up, last question. For
Okay.
people who are out there and they've maybe been through some of the things you've been through, they're a little lost. They want to speak up more. They want to do something to help spread the word, but maybe they're a little scared. Maybe they're a little timid about it. Maybe they're not ready to be a lion yet. Okay, like you are. What's the one piece of advice you can give these folks for maybe just um, trying to take a step forward?
Just take the step because God's got you. It doesn't matter. Like, I was that person, so I was petrified. I was petrified to write the book. I was petrified to do the podcast. Every step I took, I was petrified. I'm an introvert. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a naturally shy person. This is not who I am. I'm a shy person. I'm an introvert. I'd rather sit in a hoodie, doom scrolling than doing any of this. Like this is not who I am naturally. Um, but God that's who your strength is. That's who you lean on. And with his strength, you can do anything. And he's not asking you to run up ahead 20 steps. He's literally asking you to take one step with him right next to him.
Yeah,
That's it. One step. And then you take the next step.
love it.
Don't race to the end. Just take one step.
Love it. And I got to tell you, I am, every time I talk to you, I'm more amazed at what God is doing through you. You are like a different person from the first 20 minutes of me meeting you, way back when. It's really amazing, the change. God has just worked through you in so many ways. It's a blessing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So are you. I
Oh,
appreciate you
thank
being
you.
on here. Folks, author, podcaster, host of Unpolished, but called Kathrin Schaefer. Kathrin, thank you for coming on, sharing your story, and inspiring all the people that I know you did today. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks,
You
Rory.
got it. You got it. Folks, it is time. It's time to wake up the lions. More than that, it's time for you to take your rightful place with your brothers and your sisters and let them hear you roar. The world is ready. You're ready. You just have to believe it.